Welcome race fans here to the Lucas Oil Raceway. We are getting geared up for today's Kroger 200, race number 20 of the 2016 NASCAR Xfinity Series season. We are live here at the Lucas Oil Raceway for a 40-lap event here tonight, and we have the number 33, Brian Scott on pole for the first time in 2016. To his outside, the number 11 Freightliner Toyota, Joe Gibbs Racing's Eric Jones. Row 2, you have Chris Buescher and Josh Berry, and running out your top 5 rookie Brandon Jones in the number 2. Last night we wrapped up the Truck Series race here from LOR, and it was KBM's rookie William Byron who dominated the whole entire race. Started on the outside of the front row, led every single lap, got through lap traffic, and held off Daniel Hamrick to pick up his first career NASCAR Cabin Road Truck Series win. Tonight, Brian Scott, a guy who's never won an Xfinity race before, will start on pole in the number 33. Can he get it done? The Spring Up Series Rookie of the Year contender for Richard Childress Racing. I'm Rick Burton here in the broadcast booth, here to give you full coverage of tonight's race, the Kroger 200, the first Xfinity race at LOR since 2011. Been a long time since we've had a race here at LOR, but we're excited to be back here at the short track. And tomorrow, the NASCAR Spring Up Series Crown Royal 400 live from the Brickyard. That'll be tomorrow here on March 531. And now let's sit down and track side to get the command to fire up the engines.
Drivers, start your engines.
The pace car will now lead the foot on down into turn number 1. Let's take a look at the number 19 of Daniel Suarez. 4 wins in that number 19 car in 2016. Richmond, Michigan, Chicago, New Hampshire. That 19 has certainly been a dominant team here in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. 40 cars are lined up on the grid. They're all rolling down into turn number 3. Down the backstretch, the number 97 of Jennifer Jo Cobb and the 89 of Morgan Shepherd. They round out the field. Brian Scott and Eric Jones, your front row. Race number 20 of the year. We continue our race to the chase, and Brian Scott, the 33, will lead us off the final corner, down to the line. And we are underway here from Lucas Oil Raceway. Brian Scott, a great jump in that number 33, and Chris Buescher ready to go. He's going to clear Eric Jones before they even get off turn number 2. And here comes rookie Josh Berry underneath in the number 7 car. Down the back straight away they go, down into turn number 3. We stay green. And on the inside, 3 wide back here, that's the 20 of Matty Benedetto this weekend, making his first start of the year for Joe Gibbs Racing. On the outside of the 88 of Alex Bowman. Ty Dillon in the 3, Brendan Gaughan 62. Brendan pulled back in the number 48. And the 22, Tyler Reddick, Justin Marks, and the 42, Johnny Sauter, and the 23, double wide entering turn number 3. And Brian Scott currently leads the first 2 laps here at Lucas Oil Raceway. But Chris Buescher has been one of the fastest cars here all weekend long, looking for win number 2 in 2016. Right now, Daniel Suarez, Eric Jones, and Ty Dillon, they've already clinched a spot in the Xfinity chase. Chris Buescher, a second win today, would automatically put that number 60 car in the chase, as he'll have a shot to get by him on the restart as we are under yellow. In the 78 of B.J. McLeod coming down pit lane, and the 89 of Morgan Shepherd. And Johnny Sauter, he had a great run in qualifying, driving the 23 for GMS Racing. And Johnny Sauter on pit lane, and appears his day is over here. Sauter qualified 16th for tonight's race, and he's on pit lane along with B.J. McLeod and Morgan Shepherd. And the wreck will happen at lap number 3, and it looks like he may have blew a motor. Here he is battling Ross Chastain and Justin Marks off turn 4. And yeah, you can hear like something under the hood went haywire, and slowing down Kel Conley and JJ Yaley. Tough break for Conley and Yaley, and then A few drivers able to avoid the 23 until Morgan Shepherd and BJ McLeod comes in, and Shepherd goes straight to pit road. And same with McLeod. Johnny Sauter unable to drive his car to pit lane, and he is teleported to pit lane. So it appears his day is over here at Lucas Oil Raceway. Back live here at LOR, going back green here on lap number 9 of 40. Race leader Brian Scott. Second is Chris Buescher, Eric Jones, Josh Berry, and James Buescher inside the top 5. Brandon Jones, Matthew Benedetto, Alex Bowman, Ty Dillon, and Brendan Gaughan. Tyler Reddick, Brendan Poole, Cole Custer, Ross Chastain, and Justin Marks. Daniel Suarez, Darrell Wallace, Ryan Truex, Blake Cook, and the 80 of Ross Kenseth. 3 drivers are out of the race. BJ McLeod, Morgan Shepherd, and Johnny Sauter had to take their cars behind the wall, and they are done for the day, leaving us with 37 cars remaining on the track, all of them on the lead lap. Pace car will hit pit lane. Let's try this again. Brian Scott and Chris Buescher, your front 2 are back underway. And another great jump by the 60 of Chris Buescher. Down in the turn number 1 they go. And Buescher and McKinney clear Brian Scott off turn number 2. Scott fights back on the outside line. And who does Eric Jones follow? Buescher on the inside, but Brian Scott will have that momentum coming off the corner number 4. Down to the line while Buescher will lead the lap though. No, Scott edges him at the line. But Buescher is still trying to find any grip he can on the inside line. Now this track is very known for having the outside line be the preferred lane, which is really the opposite of many of the short tracks we have here today, like Martinsville, Richmond. You normally want to be on that inside line. And Buescher can't do nothing with the 33 Brian Scott. He will settle into second place. Great run right now by the rookie Josh Berry running inside the top 5. James Buescher 6th. 7th place battle now, Brandon Jones and Alex Bowman. This 88 car, a lot of talk in the garage saying that this 88 would be a factor to win this race. Qualified 10th for Alex Bowman, and right now trying to get inside the top 5. Has to get around that 2 of Brandon Jones first though. Matthew Benedetto driving 1 of 2 races in this 20 car for Joe Gibbs Racing. He'll be in this car again at Gateway, the first race of the Xfinity Chase. From Matthew Benedetto, he'll be running tomorrow's Cup race at Indianapolis. Ty Dillon, he will also be running tomorrow's Cup race for Levine Family Racing as Chastain in the wall. In the wall in turn 3 and 4, Ross Chastain, he will lose a spot to Justin Marks and Daniel Suarez. And now to the inside comes Darrell Wallace in the 6. The outside line, we talk about that being a preferred lane, but sometimes drivers might get a little bit too far up the track and even into the outside wall as you have a battle for lead again. Chris Buescher hitting out the 33 of Brian Scott. Buescher moves to the bottom of the track down in turn 1, but Scott picks up the throttle to hang on to the top spot. Now Scott drives away off the corner. Brian Scott running double duty this weekend, so is Chris Buescher. We talked about Alex Bowman and Ty Dillon, Matthew Benedetto, Tyler Reddick ran in last night's truck race. Back here outside the top 20, Jeremy Clements, Ron Reed, Cole Witt, Ron Sieg, and Jed Burton. There's Michael Self, Ray Black Jr., Raquel Conley's. Remember Conley, he got held up by Johnny Sauter when he blew his engine. He's now 28th. Tyler Young and J.J. Yaley, who had a great run going out New Hampshire a couple of weeks ago, inside the top 5 until Brad Keselowski wrecked off turn 4, got wrecked by Daniel Suarez, and Yaley had nowhere to go but into the side of the number 22, and Yaley finished outside the top 35. Tough break for that 44 team. Mingus, Quapple, John West Townley, Chris Cockrum, Jennifer Jo Cobb. She ran in last night's truck race. Right now, 35th, Brian Ellis, Joey Gase, and Brian Scott continues to hold on to the lead, but Chris Buescher is giving him everything he has right now, and they have driven away from third place Eric Jones by 1.3 seconds. And we have a fourth place battle heating up now, Josh Berry and James Buescher. James Buescher almost won the truck race here back in 2011, was on a different pit strategy than the other drivers. He dominated most of the race, but ended up running out of gas, and the win went to Timothy Peters. And Busher. Let's go on board with that number 60 of Chris Busher for a moment. Busher, you know, he's tried the inside line to get around that 33 of Brian Scott, just can't make it work. He may have to try to see if he can get on the outside of Brian Scott. He has run right here off the corner. Nice run by Chris Busher to the inside. Can he get him down in turn number 1? Busher's car sliding out the track, might be a little bit tight right now, needs to get off the gas, so he keeps running into Brian Scott. And we are now past the halfway point in the Kroger 200. 20 laps down, it'll be 20 to go now, this time by for race leader Brian Scott, looking for career win number 1 in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Chris Busher runs second, Jones, Berry, and Busher. Now Alex Bowman, he's been trying to get around this number 2, Brendan Jones, for quite a while now. He went on the outside down here in turn 1. That may pay dividends down here in turn 3. Bowman does her crossover to the inside of Jones in turn 3. He was on the outside of Jones down in turn 1 and 2. Moved to the bottom down here in turn 3 and 4. And they're rubbing doors side by side entering turn 1 again. And here comes the 20 of Matt DiBenedetto and the 3 of Ty Dillon, Jones' teammates. Brandon Jones fighting back on the outside, entering turn number 3 now. Alex Bowman has one of the more faster cars here, just did not really get the qualifying run he was hoping for, and right now Bowman just trying to get around that number 2. Side by side, Alex Bowman on the inside, Brandon Jones up top in the 2, and he has the nose ahead of that 2 car now. Let's see if he can finally clear him down here in turn 1. I think he might got him, but Brandon's going to fight back on the outside. But Bowman should be able to clear for good now down here in turn 3 if he can just have a nice turns 3 and 4. DiBenedetto now moves the inside of Brandon Jones, but Bowman will clear Brandon to get in a 6th place now and see if he can chase down the top 5. And now we're going to hit some lap traffic, which could very well stick at the lead, and it does. Chris Busher has gotten around Brian Scott for the lead. So now they go around the 52 of Joey Gates to put him 1 lap down to the leader Chris Busher now in front of Brian Scott with 14 laps remaining next time by. Brian Scott is second, then number 33. Let's go back and see how Chris Busher got the lead away from Brian Scott. We were following along with Brandon Jones and Alex Bowman, and we talked about him maybe having to go to the outside lane on Brian Scott. Well, that's what he did down here in turn 1. Scott left the outside line open, ran the middle lane. Busher went up high, got the run off the corner, and look at the run by Chris Busher to the outside of Brian Scott, and he'll have the preferred line now coming off turn 4. And now he's going to catch the 52 of Joey Gates to put him a lap down. And now going after the 17 of Ryan Ellis. So it wasn't technically lap traffic that gave the 60 the lead, but lap traffic can very well take the lead away from Chris Busher, as we'll have 14 to go next time by. And after the 97 of Jennifer Jo Cobb goes a lap down, which she does right now, we should have some clean track for our leader Chris Busher for the next quite while, as Chris Cocker right now in the 14 is going through turns 3 and 4, and Busher pulling away from the 33 of Brian Scott. Here's Eric Jones, Josh Berry, James Busher, Alex Bowman, Brandon Jones, Matt DiBenedetto, Ty Dillon, and Brendan Gunn trying to hang on to a top 10 run, but here comes that 22 of Tyler Reddick. Brendan Poole 12th, Cole Custer, Justin Marks, Chastain, Darrell Wallace, and Daniel Suarez has really struggled all weekend long, did not qualify well. Right now Suarez running 17th in that number 19 car. This is Daniel's first ever race here at LOR as well. We did not race here last year in his rookie year, and he did not run last night's truck race, or did he? Can't quite remember. Maybe he did. Ryan Truex, Blake Cook, and Ross Kenseth. And he did, by the way. And Bowman is caught. James Busher, Josh Berry, they're going to make contact. Gase bouncing off into the one of James Buescher, and he'll have a hungry Alex Bowman pushing him off the corner. And the 52 is in the wall, Joey Gase. Buescher now on the inside of Ron Ellis, and now the 97 of Jennifer Joe Cobb gives Buescher plenty of room on the bottom to get by. And right now the difference between Chris Buescher and Brian Scott is 1.4 seconds. Buescher is certainly checking out on Brian Scott. And now the 97 of Cobb in the wall. And she'll end up slowing down Gase and Brandon Jones, Matt DiBenedetto. Eight laps remaining for Chris Buescher. He got his first win of the year at Texas earlier this season. A second win today would automatically put this number 60 car in the chase for sure. Now Daniel Suarez with 4 wins, Ty Dillon and Eric Jones has 2 apiece. They're already in the chase. They already know it. Mathematically in the chase. Now Buescher can very well clinch the spot should he win tonight. 1.5 seconds now on the number 33 of Brian Scott. Alex Bowman trying to get around the one of James Buescher, but Buescher has the outside line. Bowman on the bottom. Down in the turn number 3 they go. And we saw how long it took Alex Bowman to get around the 2 of Brandon Jones. He made him do the same with James Buescher. And it's going to probably be harder this time because Buescher is quicker than Jones, the 2 car. So you would think it would be a lot harder for Bowman to get around James Buescher than it was with the number 2 of Brandon Jones. Buescher goes around Chris Cochran and put him 1 lap down. Right now the difference is 1.3 seconds. Scott was able to chop in the lead of Chris Buescher just a little bit. That was because of the 14 of Chris Cochran. Now he has the 25 of John West Townley, the 90 of Tyler Young to deal with. John West Townley, Affinity Motorsports, their Truck Series driver Dylan Lupton got the big win at Eldora last Wednesday night. Lupton drives in the Truck Series, Townley in the Xfinity Series. And you got Tyler Young in the 90, King Autosports, and Buescher unable to get around the 25, and last time by was 1.2 seconds. 1.3 now because Scott is getting hold up with a 14 of Cochran. It's times like this where that you would hope that 14 would give the 33 some room, as here comes Buescher on the outside of John West Townley and Tyler Young. This should help. You would think it would help Brian Scott. Scott clears Cochran, but now Buescher will finally clear Tyler Young. Jeremy Clements trying to get around the 97 of Jennifer Joe Cobb. Right now we have 31 cars on the lead lap, and we are on the yellow, and we have Tyler Reddick and Cole Custer. This will bring us overtime, folks, here at LOR. We always seem to have something like this go on. And Buescher is going to run into Mason Mingus. Brian Scott spins out, trying to avoid the slower cars that wrecked down here in turn 1 to 44. Completely damaged J.J. Yaley. And Chris Buescher has some front end damage on the number 60. Travis Quapple, Mason Mingus wrecked. And they're all just running into each other back here. Let's go back and see what happened down here. If I can find really where it started. Right here, maybe somewhere down here. We normally always see something like this towards with about 3 to go. And right here, Cole Custer trying to get around the slower 52 of Joey Gase. He's going to turn Gase down the track and clip the 22 of Tyler Reddick. They were running 13th and 14th at the time. Gase takes out Custer. There's Justin Marks, Ryan Truex, Blake Cook, and Ross Kenseth on the gas. Or on the brake, I'm sorry. And, of course, they're going to pile in. There's Ron Reed, runs right into Tyler Reddick. It was Jed Burton, Michael Self trying to slow down, Black Jr., Connolly. Here comes the 84 Mingus. I believe he's Hasn't hit nothing yet. Here comes Busher, tries to slow down, and he runs right into the number 84. Brian Scott then spins out, or nearly spins out. Same with Eric Jones and Josh Berry. What a mess down here in turn number 1. Now, we're not going to be able to go overtime. So, they're coming down pit road, but we'll have the green-white checker in a moment. Chris Busher is your leader. Brian Scott second. Eric Jones, Josh Berry, and James Busher. Alex Bowman, Brandon Jones, Matty Benedetto, Ty Dillon, and Brendan Gunn. That'll be your top 10 when we come back here to LOR. We are back live here at Lucas Oil Raceway, going green this time by 31 cars. We're on the lead lap when the scheduled distance ended. That means the 31 will be able to participate in this green-white checker. We are overtime here at Lucas Oil Raceway with the Kroger 200. Chris Busher choosing the inside lane. Brian Scott up top. Row 2, Eric Jones and Josh Berry. Row 3, James Busher and Alex Bowman. Row 4, Brandon Jones and Matty Benedetto. And Row 5, Ty Dillon and Brendan Gunn. Making their way through turns 3 and 4. Down to the line. Who will it be? Taking home the trophy at the end of the night. We're back underway. 2 to go for Chris Busher. Brian Scott got a pretty good jump. He got a little bit of push from Josh Berry. Entering turn number 1 they go. And Jones sideways. He's going to get turned by the one of James Busher. He saves it. Here comes Bowman on the outside and Matty Benedetto. Then Benedetto gets inside the top 5. But can he hang on? And they come off the final corner. 1 lap to go at Lucas Oil Raceway for Chris Busher. Ryan Scott sits second. Josh Berry third. Alex Bowman, Andy Benedetto your top 5. James Busher 6th. Brandon Jones, Eric Jones. How about Cole Custer now trying to get inside the top 10 as Tyler Reddick's coming up through the middle. Making the way through turns 3 and 4 out of the final corner. Chris Busher is going to win the Kroger 200 at LOR. His second win of the year. Chris Busher, your winner today at Lucas Oil Raceway. The Admiral Care Ford Mustang will be going to victory lane. Brian Scott, runner-up here in the number 33. Josh Berry, Alex Bowman, and Matt Benedetto your top 5. James Busher, Brandon Jones the top 10. Eric Jones, Brendan Gunn, and Tyler Reddick. We'll grab a top 10. Cole Custer, Ty Dillon, 13th for the 3 car. Next run by Ross Chastain, 12th place with the Johnny Davis number 4. But that is all here from LOR. Congrats to Chris Busher on win number 2, and he becomes the 4th driver to clinch a spot into the 2016 Xfinity Chase. He joins Daniel Suarez, Ty Dillon, and Eric Jones. Other drivers who have multiple wins this year, they are already locked into the chase. Right now, only one driver with 1 win is still not automatically in just yet. That is Ricky Josh Berry with his Talladega win. Tomorrow in the NASCAR Spring Up Series, we'll be live from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the Crown Royal 400. That'll be live here on March at 5:31 tomorrow. Next Xfinity race will be Iowa Speedway next weekend, so be on the lookout for that race number 21 of the year. Until then, congrats to Chris Busher on his 2nd win of the year, and we'll see you next time here on March at 5:31. Goodbye, everyone.